Hi, Assalamualaikum and Salam Sejahtera. You're watching a very special recording of Agenda AWANI right here in Kota Kinabalu, a city that overlooks the South China Sea, but it's very much rising, even though it's called below the wind, but it's rising fast to develop high and soaring. But we know there are a few headwinds now. The world economy, what's happening globally, it affects everything, especially in a country like Malaysia, where we are very open to trade, we are very open to tourism. And right now, with the interesting political scenario in Malaysia, so it's the right time to come and visit Kota Kinabalu to see what actually is happening here in Kota Kinabalu and Sabah as a whole, and what is the leadership from now on moving forward in this very uncertain and challenging 2020. So I'm very proud to be here. Depan tu ada tulis Kementerian Pelancongan Kebudayaan dan Alam Sekitar Sabah. That means I'm at the office of a minister, but actually she wears two hats. She's also the Deputy Chief Minister of Sabah. Yang berhormat Datuk Christina, thank you so much for making time.
You're welcome.
I think you're the only second lady to be at DCM level, and you're the first Chinese lady to be at DCM level also. So congratulations from Astro.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm so sorry that we are so slow. We should have come here about 2 years ago, the moment you put in office. But it's never too late, and it's very pertinent now with so much happening locally and internationally. I just want to ask you the first question, because I feel that you are very busy and running around everywhere, because we've been chasing you, and finally today we've managed to squeeze you. How is it being in the hot seat? It's not easy to be in the DCM post. At the same time, you're looking at a very, very rapidly challenged tourism industry right now. Culture, people also want to be global, but at the same time they want to have their culture. And environment. And with Sabah being home, naturally blessed to so much wonderful heritage of the flora and fauna. So how do you keep your day? You still look bright and very energetic.
Thank you for saying all the nice things. In actuality, under my ministry, there are 6 agencies, the key agencies, and I have a panel of staff that are very experienced, and also they are very supportive of the ministry's work. So if you ask me how do we move around, it's because I have all these capable staff supports. And Sabah Ministry of Tourism is overlooking 6 agencies, as I said just now, and each agency has its pengarah, or its directors, and under the directors it has its supporting staff, so we are able to manage all these activities. Yes, it is a very busy ministry, but it is also a very interesting and challenging ministry, where we enjoyed working with different groups under different headings. And on top of that, we are also working with people who are stakeholders as far as the industry is concerned, such as the hoteliers, the tour guides, the restaurants. All these people are directly or indirectly the ground people facing the tourists. So we are constantly working with them, in dialogue with them, as well as carrying out our KPI among our staff.
In the world right now, people talk about sustainability and inequality. So I guess you're the best at, number 2.1 as a DCM, to look at how do you move these two together. It doesn't mean that if you equalize, you stop Kota Kinabalu and this side of Sabah development and push up Sempurna, push up Tawau, push up Sandakan, for example. But how do you move it together? Because at the center, geographically, is the tourism, good stuff that you have just elucidated. So do you feel that you have that role to play? Because you have both worlds, and you now have the ability, through tourism, through looking at the environment, through looking at culture, to synergize and link it beautifully together.
I'm very lucky because under me there is this cultural board. They are doing a great job in assisting to promote cultural activities in various parts of Sabah. In Sabah, we have got 35 major ethnic groups.
Yes.
And under these 35, we have about 100 over sub-ethnic groups.
Okay.
And these are very important groups because
Yeah.
they come from all over Sabah.
Okay.
And they contributed to the rich resources of culture,
Yes.
environment in Sabah. And we fully expose them to the general public and tell them that, look, your culture is very special.
Yes.
Each one of you is very special. And that you need to go and tell all your other neighbors and your friends, and even beyond Sabah to West Malaysia, to all over the world, that we have, and that you have this rich culture. So last year when I was in Berlin, Germany, for this international trade exhibition, we brought 6 of our cultural dancers there, you know, to expose them to the international arena, so that we are telling people, other than the tourism in but our beautiful beach, our beautiful sunset, our islands, our mountains, our diving spots, our forestry, we also have very rich cultures that they can enjoy. This brings me to the point of how do I do it?
Yeah.
Through the community tourism.
I see.
Community tourism means tourists come, they move into different side of the interior side of our Sabah.
Can you share, because I want the audience to understand this administration, especially with you in it. How do you bring this agenda of tourism, environment, and culture when everyone else is looking at how do we make money for the state?
Yes, it's what you say rightly, that the environmental department is under one of the portfolio that I have under these ministries. And I have emphasized it over and over many times, even to the officers' concerns, or even to some of the ministry people, officers, and that whatever project that you want to do, implement, if it's a big project, especially, you must get the approval of the environmental department. You must, because this is to avoid future dispute. Your project, if being implemented and not going through the proper procedure of having the approval from the environmental department, if in future there is any dispute and the project cannot go on, I mean, it's quite a common sight in the past. In the past, now I would say things have improved. Where the project started and then it cannot go on. Something happened, something collapsed. And that's when we check the records, because there was never an application to approve to the environmental department. So, and the Chief Minister was very understanding when we brought this up, and he understands that, this must go through the environmental department in order to avoid future disputes. And the construction of the project would be very smooth. So coming to your point, say, how do I adjust this one to set a balance between environment and development?
People pay thousands of US dollars to travel just to see a rainforest. And that's before we even mention orangutan, proboscis monkey. And if you're lucky enough and you help us save the climate change rise, temperature, you might get to see also pygmy elephant as you go in Sukau, for example, on that small boat, quietly traversing the river of Kinabatangan.
Yes.
And probably you might feel it's dangerous, but it's actually not, because the big crocodiles just sunbathing on the bank, right?
Yes.
So that is also money, and that is repeatable every time.
Yes.
Compared to one plant that might have to buy resources from someone else that might be affected by whatever is happening in the world. So can we push that narrative up also, because saving nature is also creating wealth?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Exactly what you have just said. Exactly true, because tourism is not about seeing shopping malls or seeing visiting a museum only, although they are part of it.
Yes.
But tourism for Sabah, as far as Sabah is concerned, we're talking about clean environment, preservation, conservation of wildlife and forests.
Yes.
This is the point that we want to sell to the world, that you come to Sabah, when you visit Sabah, it is an inclusive tourism
Yes.
experience for you. You
Correct.
get to see the
Yes.
highest mountain in Southeast Asia, and you get to see the most beautiful and amazing diving spots in
Yes.
Sabah, and you get to see the third world's most beautiful sunset in
Yes.
Tanjung Aru, and you get to enjoy even the beautiful and delicious seafoods in Sabah.
Correct.
See, all
Yes.
these are inclusive. Where do you go to a place where you can go visit all these things, from forest to mountain to wildlife to conservations? Sabah has it all.
Yes.
And what we don't have, we are trying to incorporate. Now, for 2020, I have a few plans already on the sleeve. For example, we're going to promote some of the museums, and also the maybe safari in Sabah. I have got the blessing from the Chief Minister, who's very supportive on this idea.
So rainforest safari.
Oh yes, yes.
Okay.
We are going to do, and we are going to organize like a marathon in rainforest.
Okay.
This will be one of the events that we will have it in Sabah. And all these new items, why are we doing this? Because we believe in promoting Sabah and getting repeated tourists. No.
Okay.
For example, I must upgrade my. I think you have been the national park, the pouring, you know, the hot spring.
When I climb down from Mount Kinabalu, you know, all the muscles don't
Yes,
want to follow my brain. So
You go there,
I put there for 2 hours,
Yes.
then it listens.
Correct. But right now, I visited the place when I first became the minister, and I noticed that the chalets inside the national park, this chalet for the hot spring water, they have been there for the last 45 years. And I was telling my GM, I said, why don't we upgrade this one to overnight? You build a room in there where people can actually check in and stay there overnight, and with the existing facility. And that was a basic concept that I had. So this is what we call upgrading the basic facility that we have, so that we can have repeated clients coming in. Okay, I may have a Japanese tourist or a Korean tourist to come in and visited there 2 years ago. And if he goes back there and if it remains the same, there's nothing interesting.
Understood.
So we must upgrade it. And this is only one of them that I am now telling to you.
YB, I do have to take whatever you have explained, and I hope for the first time the viewers of Agenda AWANI will see you from your perspective. But I have to tie it to the current challenges. And with COVID-19, because, for example, I don't think there's more flights to any other parts of Malaysia from China than to Sabah.
Yes.
It's like direct connection, like a busy shuttle kind of thing.
Yes.
But now with COVID-19, travel restrictions, South Korean was starting to come here too. You know, the great record breaker BTS, their first video was shot also around Sutra and Tanjung Aru, for example. So it's great. But now with all these challenges, travel bans and everything, how do you pivot, or how do you, change a bit? I know the state government is like a big tanker. It's not easy to just switch. But in tourism, how do you change it a bit to modify?
Yes, when the COVID-19, in the early times it was called coronavirus. When it broke up, the whole world was shocked. Not only Sabah, the whole world was shocked. And we were one of the first one to ban. It was the wisdom of our chief minister. He directed me actually, and says, Christina, we must do something about it, And we studied, and we said we cannot wait anymore. So the press release was done, let's say, in the afternoon, one day after the cabinet meeting, and that very night we implemented the ban policy. And that very evening, I went to the international airport, KK, and I was having meeting with the immigration there. And we say anybody, because as you say, the flights from China is, they usually come in at night, and there's a lot of flights at night. So we said, I'm here to make sure that nobody from China, we implemented that day, and make sure that no Chinese tourists will, the Chinese tourists will follow the directive. So, but that very night, there were 6 flights coming in about the same time. But we were lucky, 5 of them got the news already. So they offloaded the Chinese tourists before they took off. But there was one airline, he already was flying, did not get the notice. So when they came, and so because of that, I stayed behind. I stayed behind till I think 1 a.m. it arrived. So once it arrived, the immigration head went to the aircraft and told them, no, you cannot get out. We have to implement the policy directed by the state government. So there were 29 of them. So they stayed on. The rest, Malaysians and Sabahan, they were, out and they were tested, But they were very understanding. They said, all right. They stopped over 1 hour at the airport and then they flew back. You see, they were very cooperative and understanding. And that was when we started the ban. And just 2-3 weeks ago, because of the wild spread of this corona, now it's called COVID-19 in Korea, we banned that also. So it's a constant challenge because China and Korea, one of our best main source of tourists coming to visit Sabah. So that 1-2 days, it was a very difficult decision. But I knew we have to do it for the benefit of the Sabah people.
Correct.
We have to stop the source. We need to do something about it. We're lucky we got the understanding from the China Council, and we were cooperating. We were like on a daily basis involving. We set up a special committee daily basis on the updating from the immigration of airport on what are the status like. Thank God this is under control as far as the incoming by flight the tourists. How do I face it? Daily contact with our relevant department so that we know what's going on.
My producer is Sabahan, but he's asking me to cut short. But I want to, to go a few more minutes because one is to stop the fire, which you have graphically told us how you did it from the first day.
Yes.
But once you stop the fire, you must also look at the house. The house still needs to run.
Yes.
The kids still need money to go to school.
Yes.
So how do you tell your tour operators, your hoteliers, that house that you want them to take tourists in and they have the experience? So how now do you tell them? Do you tell that, hey, I don't know what's the percentage of Chinese tourists at Korea, but I think they're huge. So do you say, never mind, we go fasting for a few months until this calms down? Maybe we take more from our brothers and sisters in Peninsula. How do you at least pare down a bit the impact?
Yes, we immediately call meeting with the stakeholders, which means the hoteliers, the tour guides, and all these tour buses, and we have discussion with them how we go about the best way, to sustain their operation costs, because they're not even talking about profit, just to maintain the cost. And so we go towards domestic tourism. Domestic tourism plays an important role. And we are now seeing tourists coming in from different parts of Semenanjung, and they're coming in, and we encourage them, we give them incentive, we advise them, cut down your prices now. Now is the time we enjoy our domestic tourists coming in, and then we show them our great hospitality. And domestic tourism is picking up. It's picking up now. As we advise the stakeholders, don't be discouraged. A lot of them have laid off their employees, but a lot only give them 1 or 2 months off without pay. Because we are positive. I'm positive that when these things recover eventually in a few months' time, tourists will start coming in, and we will be ready for them.
Langit tak selalu mendung.
Betul.
The cloud will go away. Later, I'll get with you or from your office the figures so that we can back up what you say.
All right.
But on environment, now is the days where one tweet can spark so much conversation. But when there are pictures of cute, nice baby pygmy elephant lying on the ground lifeless, that travels so far. Even in Semenanjung that have never known there's a pygmy elephant in Sabah, then suddenly, what's happening? And now I think the authorities here has certified that for the latest 2, it was poison. That was the cause of death. So how do you marry this? Because tourism is one thing, and you want, and that's a big asset. You have testified to that.
Yes.
Then suddenly, from the environment side, the sustainability of pygmy elephants, and then if I elongate that to orangutan, proboscis monkey, and all the rest, clouded leopards, and you have so many. How do you ensure this now? Because you know the threat is already there. Just like COVID for tourism and the threat to flora and fauna.
Yes. For the pygmy elephants, we target the elephant now because we have just got the approval from the cabinet, a 10-year action plan in looking after or rather the preservation on the pygmy elephants. The government has approved this 10-year action plan, and we will be implementing them. Every year, certain allocation given by the state government for us to do it. And pygmy elephants, we hope to be able to contain them in what you call elephant food corridor.
I see.
Where they will only, maybe a few thousand acres of land will be reserved for them. We will plant the elephant food, vegetables and fruits, so that they do not have to go into the oil palm plantation and by accident or by directly so or
there's
indirectly.
There's no confrontation.
Yes, there's no confrontation, but we are now promoting not human versus elephant, but coexistence of human and elephants. No more confrontation. But they need land. They need food.
Yes.
So that they can. They don't have to go into the plantation.
That's why we, Datuk, I think your portfolio of deputy chief ministers is very, very crucial. To be fair, Sabah has a good track record of rehabilitating forests that has been cleared. So now it's just doing the same for the pygmy elephant.
Yes. Pygmy elephant is one of our big concerns because they. Not only they are killed, they are our assets, but they are also one of its kind in the world. That we have to preserve them. We have to preserve them there, and that if we don't, we are practically selling our assets away. You see, so each time one pygmy elephant dies, part of my heart also dies.
Understood.
Every time the elephant's picture lying on the ground like that, you will see my picture there also.
Things gonna change for the future. Assuming we get and survive, which we will pray we will, COVID-19, if we look at medium to long term, the fact that the new capital city of Indonesia is moving to East Kalimantan, I'm sure is featuring in your mind and your team's mind, because not only is it about infrastructure, but a whole new middle class will emerge in Kalimantan, right? Because it's the capital city of the biggest Muslim nation.
I know.
So how are you preparing the base now for that? When that happens, it goes on just nicely together.
Yes. Our chief minister really has the foresight. Last year, he brought the whole cabinet, almost the whole cabinet, visit. We chartered a flight and visited Kalimantan. And we see the potential. Tawau, part of Sabah, very near, very close to Kalimantan. And we see from the beginning, what are the areas that we can work together as two countries? For example, we can promote the education tourism, where the Indonesians can fly over, and have received their basic education in Tawau, and we can have medical tourism. Our treatment, we have got the best hospital as well as a medical facility. For them, to satisfy their need or their requirement. It's nearer to come to Tawau and KK than for them to fly to Jakarta and Singapore. So it's better for them, you see. And our communication systems and our security along the border side, all these the two countries can work hand in hand.
So with all this, and you're the chair for PKR in Sabah, how do you see politics now, locally, vis-a-vis, nationally?
I always say that I have two bosses. One is my KK boss, one is my KL boss. But my heart, I'm a Sabahan. My heart is in Sabah. So I would like to see myself as serving my Sabah government first before I talk about Kuala Lumpur. That's why I'm not in any of the cabinet in Kuala Lumpur. So we work as a team. In spite of what happened in Kuala Lumpur, the Chief Minister of Sabah still keep us working intact as a team. In his cabinet, he has the Warisan, he has APCO, he has PKR and DAP. and it remains intact. And that's the beauty of our Chief Minister's wisdom. He doesn't want to have anything that rock the government or anything. So,
Why come the new Parliament session? What will you do?
I don't know what's going on now. I need to understand
Will you
first.
support the motion of no confidence?
I need to ask two people.
Okay.
I need to ask my Chief Minister and
Your two bosses again. Okay.
Yes,
Fair
yes.
enough. Fair enough. I had to ask the question because you're also Ahli Dewan Rakyat, which is a very sacred democratic institution of Malaysia.
yes.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for
very
being
much,
who
sir.
you are. Thank you so much. Whether we support you or not politically is not the matter.
Yes.
But what the matter is, every single Malaysian, even in Sabah, must be well represented
Yes.
at the highest level possible.
Yes.
And I think you have committed that to the audience of Agenda AWANI and Astro AWANI. Thank you so much,
Thank
YB.
you very much. Thank you.
The only YB who has confessed to me on air that she has two bosses and works over two different eastern seaboard and southern western seaboard of Sabah, one of the most important states in Malaysia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
YB, Datuk Christina, for making time for Astro AWANI. That was the Deputy Chief Minister of Sabah. Of course, there's three, but there's only one lady, only the second lady ever at that position, the first Chinese lady there. And diversity is Sabah's great asset. Diversity is Malaysia's great asset. Diversity is Astro AWANI's great asset. Because no matter where you are, we will come there and make your voice be heard. Good night and goodbye.